Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Memo Live. This is a live stream slash podcast that happens from Monday to Friday at 9:30 p.m. here on youtube.com slash Memo Live. Although today is the last day to follow that schedule. From next week onwards, the live stream will only happen on Wednesdays and Saturdays at 9:30 p.m. This is mostly because of schedule related reasons and the fact that I have more things to do and I cannot spend an hour every evening doing the live stream. I thank everyone who has joined, and I apologize to everyone who found the live stream to be an integral part of their daily routine. It will have to be a part of your Wednesday and Saturday routine from now on. I will try to make the episodes longer and have more guests, etc., etc. But all that remains to be seen. For now, welcome. You're either in the live chat right now, chatting. Bunch of people. Uh, and if you're not here on the live stream, you are listening to this as audio at a later point of time on Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Ghana.com, JioSavan, etc. If you are doing that, please share the episode with someone you know or on social media. Either way works, although social media is more useless than word of mouth. People listen to podcasts when their friends and known people recommend it to them. So please do that. And today's episode, I was actually just watching the most recent episode of Rings of Power. I don't care what anyone says, I am loving it, absolutely loving it. Uh, the dynamic between Elrond and Durin today made me cry. So yeah, that's what you expect from a story, right? To touch you in the right ways. So let me look at the comments before we proceed. Muhammad says hi and then says, "How did you get Vimo as your nickname?" It's not a nickname actually. It's a name I made up. My full name is Vijendra Mohanty. Vimo is just a short form of it. VI from Vijendra, MOH from Mohanty. Battler says hello. Kostub says present, sir. Uh, Battler says, what is everyone's plans for the weekend? Yes, what are your plans? Battler says they will be studying for exam. Um, Manmat says, Kuch to woke kahenge. Last I knew, woke actually had a good meaning, but then woke as we know today happened. I mean, woke is still a good meaning. There are two usages now. One is used by conservative people to ridicule people who are aware of social realities and committed to social justice. And the other is performative, where people try to look aware and committed in order to be popular, but they're actually not that. So that's all. Samir says, will be taking part in the counseling for college. Okay. Battler says, Muhammad Samir, oh, congrats on your selection, no matter what you where you got in. Okay, I'm going to ignore people talking to each other. You are free to talk to each other, but I'm going to ignore those comments because they don't add anything to the show. Ajay says, I saw on Twitter that YouTube is testing 5 ad feature. I don't know how much this is true, but will be fun. 5 ad feature. I don't know what that is. I don't know what 5 ad feature means. Purvesh says hello. Hi Purvesh. Munmun says, how to start writing. Short stories are the best way to start. Whatever works for you is the best way to start. Although short stories do take less time and are simpler projects to undertake than a full novel. So I suppose that's a good place to start if you want to. Have you watched Rings of Fire? Rings of Fire, Nire? Rings of Power. House of the Dragon, Ice and Fire is a different thing, and Rings of Power is a different thing. But yeah, the episode 4, the episode that just came out, I saw just now. In fact, I finished it and then I got live. Manma says, Manma, just write, make it a rule to write for a given amount of time. Yes, as usual, on time, every time. Thank you, MG. Although it's a weird thing to get a compliment about. Samir says, have you seen the movie A Thursday? No, I haven't. But I have seen Wednesday. So I think it's a matter of time before I get to Thursday, right? Wednesday के बाद Thursday आता है. But no, I have not seen Thursday. So before I proceed, before the comments speed up, I'll just remind everyone that if you want to support this show, you can do so by clicking the join button below and becoming a member. Alternatively, you can send a super chat or you can support me on Patreon at patreon.com/Vimo. This is a podcast where we talk about contemporary India. We get guests sometimes. Sometimes we just talk to audience members. Sometimes it's just me reading comments and responding to questions. And it's been going on for more than 100 episodes. So I guess I'm I guess it's a thing now. And if you don't want to support on Patreon or become a member, you can simply go to my blog at vimo.stck.me and click the support button and make a one-time donation. There is no monthly or annual funder there. You can just make a one-time donation with an amount of your choosing. Also, there are t-shirts and hoodies and mugs available at kadakmerch.com/vimolive. kadakmerch.com/vimolive. VIMOHLIVE. Having gotten that out of the way, I decided to do that twice these days for some reason. One says Hellbrand is Sauron or misdirection. I don't think Hellbrand is Sauron because no. If they do decide to make Hellbrand Sauron, it would be very surprising to me. Although the stranger, I am pretty sure, is either Gandalf or what was the other guy's name? The guy who went over to the dark side, not the dark side, but went over to Sauron's side, the other wizard, Saruman. Yes. Nadir says hello. Hi Nadir. Dragoon says anime recommendation Hunter x Hunter, a rather long anime filled with shonen tropes but has some really well written arcs. I have seen Hunter x Hunter ka ek do season and have I Hunter Hunter. I I I don't know, man. It felt like the two boys were overpowered, unless I'm remembering something else entirely. But the main characters appeared very overpowered to me. Hmm. Samir says Thursday is a brilliant film with a great theme and a well-crafted story. Okay. Nishant says he saw 12 Angry Men today. What a movie. Oh, okay. The movie. I thought you just saw 12 Angry Men. Battler says, by the way, can someone who has gone through NCERT, how are your history classes done? I read the 6th, 7th, 11th, and 12th textbooks. Why do people in these books spread hatred? Or why do people think these books spread hatred or are pro Muslim? Anything that does not praise Hindutva is pro Muslim according to the Hindutva Brigade. So maybe that is the reason. Although I don't know the answer to your question. So maybe someone who does know can answer it. Sumana is here. Hi, Sumana. Manmat says, like Toko, we are now 23 live, but only 12 likes. बेहद नाइंसाफी है हाँ यार like talk though. Battler says, were the chapters on temple destruction ever covered? I think consciously avoiding those chapters given the online rhetoric. Dragoon says, game recommendation, a first person puzzle game that is based on hint solving. If you want to play the game, please do not watch anything related to video games. What is the name of the game? You just said a first person puzzle game that is based on hint solving. नादिर says हारून एंड द सी ऑफ स्टोरीज वाज अ वेरी गुड रिकमेंडेशन मेमो है ना बताया था मैंने मुझे एक्चुअली याद नहीं है बहुत कुछ क्योंकि मैंने बहुत दिन पहले पढ़ा था बट हारून एंड द सी ऑफ स्टोरीज इज अ बुक बाय सलमान राश्दी दैट आई हैड recommend to Nadir and he appears to have liked it. Sameer says if someone wants to write a short story or a novelette then where to start and how to go on from there. First have an idea, then outline that idea. ये होता है फिर ये होता है फिर ये होता है फिर ये होता है. Then expand on that outline until you have the story. With a novel is slightly more complicated because you have multiple character arcs and all that. But if you're just starting with a short story, the steps are have the idea. First, write a 5 sentence synopsis of the story. Then write a 2 page outline of the story. Then write the story. And then edit the story. Manmat says, I assume something went wrong with Umo's stream setup. With all honesty, he's struggling. Let's wait. Patience is a virtue. What? Can you not see it? Is the stream not online? Hmm. What's he talking about? No, I am online. What's he talking about? MG says, have you watched Better Call Saul? Great finale. I have not seen the most recent season, if that's what you're asking. Forgot to mention name. Outer Wilds. Okay. It's online. Yeah. Seems fine. Manmat, maybe you are not able to see it because of connection issues or something. Xerxes says, Bhai, what is your take on Jharkhand CM new reservation policy? I'm in favor of reservation. I've always been in favor of reservation. I'm a little ho hum about the EWS thing because reservation is supposed to be about uplifting marginalized members of society, not because of financial nature of the problems, but because of caste. But they have also made, they have also announced extra reservation for SC/ST communities, which is a good thing. Dragoon says, and regarding Hunter x Hunter, while they have a strong plot armor but aren't that overpowered, at later arcs they become something of a side character. Okay, that's just careless storytelling, I think. Like, if you are making an anime with hundreds of episodes, the least you can do is stay true to the main character who you started the story with. Stream is online, stream is online. Okay, I got it. Piyush says, today I read the short story titled The Last Question by Isaac Asimov. Isaac का spelling तो ये तुमने न्यूटन वाला spelling लिखा है. Isaac Asimov was very particular about the name spelling of his name. I loved it. Have you read it, and what other Asimov short story would you recommend? I have read it and I think it is quite nice. I would recommend pick up his robot stories. They're collections of short stories, and they're all nice little puzzles based on the robot's inability to break the three laws of robotics. So I recommend those. Xerxes says, भाई यू आर फ्रॉम ओडिशा, ये जान के अच्छा लगा. Xerxes, ये तुम्हें ये जान के अच्छा लगा, ये सुन के मुझे अच्छा लगा. थैंक यू. क्या हो रहा है? स्ट्रीम अटक रहा है क्या? चेक अगेन. नॉर्मली तो इतना अटकता नहीं है. लेट्स जस्ट चेक. या द स्ट्रीम इज वर्किंग फाइन. अच्छा, कम लोग हैं शायद आज. मे बी दैट्स व्हाई इट सीम्स लाइक दिस. बट कमेंट रुक रुक के आ रहे हैं. आकाश says no stream is fine. Xerxes says okay. So I guess log कम है. तो मैं एक काम करता. अच्छा, मोहम्मद साहब says my bad. Was it just me out of stream? I still thought the stream is not live yet. जियो ने मार डाला. What is the topic of today's stream? There isn't actually a topic and there are fewer comments than usual. So what I will do is that I will share the link to the chat. So if anyone wants to come on screen and talk, we can do that. Click here to join via audio video. Right, I've shared it, and let me just pin the link to the top of the chat so that anyone who comes does not have to be reminded. Let's hold on. Pin हो गया. पिंडदान हो गया. Cool. Taranga says, again, clickbait title. What are you discussing tonight? I usually don't know what the episode is going to be about. I change the title after the episode ends depending on what we talked about. But it's just a Friday chill stream. The idea was that there is no topic and we are talking about whatever people have seen or are doing, etc. Nishan says, what is the topic for today? Again, no topic. Kavan says, I would recommend Robot Dreams, Robot Visions, and Bicentennial Man, Liar, and all the Susan Calvin stories. You can find all of them in the book I, Robot. Nadir says, Are Taranga. Chandranshu says, Hi Vimo, how's your day? Chandranshu, the day was okay. Taranga and Nadir are talking. Nadir says, Communist Manifesto is good, but not that easy of a read for me. Okay. Taranga says, Hello, Nadir Dost. Okay. Right. Since there aren't many comments, let me talk about something else. What do I talk about? Yeah, I was talking about Rings of Power when we started today. And Rings of Power has caused a lot of anger in the minds of some fans because they think that it's not true to Tolkien's lore. And I think that going that way is a double-edged sword because adaptation brings with itself its own set of challenges. And so far, the show has been actually quite enjoyable. Fans usually think about their feelings because they're comparing it to the books, but they also have to realize that the show is being watched by a bunch of people who have never read the books. And in this day and age, maybe some people who have never watched the movies either. So, Rings of Power can be a great introduction to the LOTR universe, the lore of that world, and then maybe people can get interested in the books, etc. So, fan communities में जो gatekeeping होता है, that does become the source of trouble sometimes. Kawan is on screen. Hold on. Hi, Kawan.
हेलो विमो।
What's up? क्या चल रहा है?
uh, सब ठीक है। I just finished submitting my master thesis, so
Okay.
yeah,
Nice.
I'm
What was the subject?
wait, yeah, I remember now.
Hmm.
The wait, I forgot again. It's something about the way memes affect brand image.
Okay. You forgot the topic of your own master's thesis. Chi chi
Yeah, I
chi.
mean, I used a thesaurus for it, so
Oh,
uh,
okay.
in essence, it's basically the effect of memes on brand image.
Okay. Okay. Nice. What is your area of study exactly?
Digital marketing.
Digital marketing. Okay. Cool. Great. So
So
what else
yeah,
has been up?
well, not much. I went to a lovely place the other day,
Hmm.
a lovely port city the other day, and it's quite popular. But then I
Okay.
was a little disappointed when I actually visited there because it was a 3 hour bus journey. It was a 3 hour, not a 3 hour bus journey. It was a 3 hour journey to get there, and I had to take a train and then a bus. And
Okay.
then because of that, I had only 3 hours to spend in that city. But
Okay.
luckily, there wasn't much in the city to do anyway. It was
Hmm.
kind of overhyped in my opinion. So
All right.
yeah, otherwise fun. I actually had a question I wanted to ask you.
Huh, go on.
A very specific question.
Huh, go on. Good specific questions are good. Usually people
Yeah.
ask essay type questions, and those are
So
very hard to answer.
so yeah, I'm writing a story
Hmm.
about. I'm writing a story in which the main character of the story is someone who is repenting for a crime he committed in a
Hmm.
type 4 civilization.
Okay.
So basically, what I'm what I was thinking was uh, to make this person repent.
Hmm.
This person is sent to our sector of space,
Hmm.
and his duty is to fend off invaders from higher, like type 1 or type 2 civilizations into our, you know, like our
Our
level of
level of whatever.
civilization.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, that's his duty. And
Hmm.
then uh, it's kind of inspired by Doctor Who. So he rides
Okay. Got it.
he rides an antimatter powered auto rickshaw
Okay.
that can travel in space but not in time.
Okay. Okay.
And basically he basically since he's sent to this sector of space, like many of
Hmm.
his memories are stripped from him. Many of the bad deeds that he does, they're actually
Hmm.
stripped from him, and he's
Hmm.
just sent there with a mission. You need to do a certain number of like good deeds or something, and help improve this society. And the
Hmm.
auto rickshaw has a kind of meter. So each time you do a good deed, like the meter kind of reduces. Your goal is to keep going on until it goes back to zero, and then you're allowed to enter your sector of space again. But the
Okay.
catch is, after you reach certain levels, like for example, let's say if you like knock off 500 from the meter, you get one part of your memory back. You get one of the bad things that you did back. And so now you're supposed to reflect on that and then grow as a person.
Okay.
So
So
that
here's my I got like, don't tell me the whole story obviously,
it's
because
not a story,
if
it's
you
just
know,
an idea.
got it. But let me
Isn't
ask
Yeah.
you a few questions. First of all, when you say type 4, you mean the Kardashev scale?
Yeah, Kardashev scale. Sorry, I should have mentioned that.
Of you who are asking about type 4, the idea is that human civilization is not even type 1 right now. Type 1 civilization is one which can harness all the energy available on its planet.
Exactly.
Type 2 is a system that can harness all the energy that its sun uh, radiates. Type
Yes.
3 is is a civilization which can harness all the energy in its solar in its system or galaxy. Kavan.
Yeah.
Type 3 is solar system
Wait
level
one
या
second. I
galaxy level.
can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
One
Hold on.
second.
Let me just type for Kardashev. Let me just search. Type 4 harness powers and okay.
Wait,
So
I can't hear you. Can you hear
type 3
me?
would be. I can hear you. I can hear you.
Wait, I can't hear you, Vimo.
I can hear you. Your
All right,
audio
one
is
sec.
fine. So I'll just
One
continue
second.
talking. You
Yeah,
come back whenever ready.
can you hear
Uh,
me? I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
I can hear you, Kavan. Okay, I'm removing you. You join again.
Wait,
Okay.
I'm
So until he comes back, Ajay is on the line. Ajay, hold on just a second. Let me just talk about the scale. So type 2 is harnessing all the energy of the star. Type 3 is the entire galaxy, and type 4 is an entire super cluster of galaxy. That sort of thing. And I had a bunch of questions about the story he told me, but I can't ask the. He's back. He's back. Hold on. Kavan, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Sorry about
So
that.
let me ask you this. Let me ask
Yeah.
you this. If your main character's memories have been wiped, why is he doing what he's doing? If he does not remember the crime that he committed, why is he doing what he's doing?
Right. So yeah, basically this is uh type 4 civilization community service. He's basically, it's like our version of like going to the streets and picking up the trash and everything.
Okay.
So basically, he
So
is
he's
just,
doing the service, but he does not know what he's doing it for. And he will later find out that he's actually doing it for a reason, and that reason was the
yeah,
crimes he
exactly.
committed.
The
Okay.
low, yeah, yeah, and then he will ultimate, again, this is not the story or anything, this is just
Hmm.
a system I want to talk to you about.
So what is the
Ultimately,
question? What is the question?
so my question is, do you think this is, do you think it is reasonable to believe that people in a uh, type 4 or type 5 civilization could possibly employ this? Like, does it seem realistic?
How would I know? I've never been in a type 4 civilization, man. It's a story. You're writing a story. So if you want to make it realistic, then it's realistic. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
My question is this: what is
yeah,
the meaning of crime in a type 4 civilization?
yeah. That I have to. Kind of have to explore that.
Right? Yeah.
It's basically
Right.
going to be like genocide, like multiple levels of genocide and
Okay.
stuff like
Okay.
that.
So my another question is this: the difference between the levels on a Kardashev scale actually increases exponentially. So first we have
Right,
planet level, then sun level, then
right,
galaxy level, then supercluster of galaxy, right?
right.
So the difference between us and this type 4 person will be very much like they will have
Yeah,
godlike powers. But the difference between
exactly.
a type 1 and a type 4 is going to be even more vast. So how is he going to stop anything from happening to us tiny people at the hands of a type 1 civilization or being?
Yeah, he has. Yeah, that is part of the story.
Okay, that's a part of the story. Okay,
Yeah,
cool, cool, cool.
he is
But
equipped
it's a
with
nice idea
certain.
if you want to work on. Yeah, if you're already working on it, it's a nice idea. Just make
Yeah,
sure there are no holes in it, because one of the biggest trouble science fiction and fantasy stories writers of fantasy stories must face is credibility. People
right,
will
right,
suspend their imagination about type 1, type 4, etc. But on a very basic level, if on a personal level it does not resonate with people, they will tune out. So make sure your characters motivations and all are in
right.
place.
Yeah,
Cool.
I will do that.
Cool,
That's what
cool.
I wanted to like just talk to you about, because like I can read a lot of like papers and stuff about what or even watch videos about what a type 4 civilization might look like. I mean, that's
Hmm.
actually where I got this idea from.
Hmm.
But then I just wanted to know if it makes sense in a sociological. I
So
don't know if
that is
that's the
up to
right
you.
word.
Like at the end of the day, you are writing stories that will be read by people in a type 1 civilization. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, I
Cool.
mean, yeah. uh, the
Cool,
and
Kavan.
also, yeah.
You have something else?
No, no, nothing. I just wanted to add that like after watching the season finale of uh wait, how did I forget the name of that show? The
Doctor Who?
Orville. The
The
Orville.
Orwell. Okay, okay,
How did
okay.
I
Huh.
forget that? Anyway, after
Yeah.
watching this season finale of Orville, like it really hit me that technology is not the solution to sociological problems.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
But the
that's
Orwell is not high concept science fiction.
yeah,
It's
definitely not.
it's on a it's good, but it's on a pop culture level of science fiction. High concept
Exactly.
science
Yeah.
fiction will be uh, you know uh, Prometheus or Aliens or something like
Contact,
Dune.
even contact
Contact,
maybe.
yes, Contact, Arrival. Those
Yeah.
will be high concept science fiction.
I
So
loved
Orwell को इतना
Arrival.
ज़्यादा seriously मत लो. It's fun.
Yeah, I know. It's
Yeah.
not serious, but then it has the vibes that I'm looking for. Orville,
Hmm.
Doctor Who. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Cool.
again,
So
thank you so
let me
much.
move on to the next caller, Kavan.
Yeah.
Huh.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much,
Thank you.
Vimo.
Bye bye.
Bye.
So we now have Ajay Kedar. Hi Ajay. What's up?
हाय विमो कैसे हो
Good. I'm okay. I'm okay.
फ्राइडे नाइट आई थिंक लॉट ऑफ पीपल हैव नॉट जॉइन टुडे बट ओके
That happens. No, no, people have joined.
या
Like the usual number
या
of
या
people is there. But comment में आज का मतलब I think people are more interested in watching instead of interacting. But that's a Friday thing. It's okay.
ओके सो फर्स्ट थिंग भारत जोड़ो आई थिंक इट्स अ गुड काउंटर टू वॉट एवर बीजेपी प्रोपेगेंडा इज
Hmm.
but at the end of it, right, what I feel is whatever the leaders involved in that particular yatra, right,
Hmm.
what are they, what is the final goal, that also need to be considered, right? Like
Hmm.
when they are traveling so much, so if we are putting something opposite to BJP, we need to have
Hmm.
a sure shot plan that our economy is failing, there is an unemployment, there is communal hatred.
Yeah.
How these leaders are going to uh, tackle all this situation, there should be a governance plan at the end of it. That also
Hmm.
means for 2024, that should be the, means at least a step further to it, right? I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. But although if you
And
talk to anyone from the Congress, they're saying that Bharat Jodo Yatra is not about 2024. It is about the Congress reviving its connection to the people of India, because the media is not taking its message to them, and the government is doing everything in power to prevent it from spreading. So Bharat Jodo Yatra, matlab, obviously it's a Congress thing, right? Rahul Gandhi is at the forefront of it. There are Congress flags, Congress people, etc. Even though there are some non-Congress organizations also associated, they are not saying that Bharat Jodo Yatra is about 2024. They're saying it is about Congress reconnecting with people and maybe spreading a message that things are bad. How things can get good, the only message out of the Bharat Jodo Yatra so far is that people need to abandon communalism and understand that the real problems are poverty, unemployment, and all.
but again, that again, it still become political. How much we deny it, it still
Hmm.
becomes about
Yeah,
2024,
it is
right?
political.
20,
I'm saying it is political. I'm
correct,
saying their official line is that it is not political.
correct.
Yeah.
But then they should come with that governance issue, that right now whatever the central government is having, they should have that counter to it. Just not saying that BJP is bad is not going to
Hmm.
solve their problem.
Yeah,
Because
that is true. That is true.
I think Akash Banerjee, I saw a video from Akash Banerjee, and he was quite, means he was, I think, pointing it out. What is the
Hmm.
final goal? That should be clear. Until
Yeah.
then, Congress will not be back.
So if you're listening to them talk, you will find out that even though they're not saying it, The goal is to project Rahul Gandhi as prime minister. I don't
Correct.
know,
Yeah.
like, every place they go to, the people they talk to, there are people like they are making YouTube videos about it. There is a live stream and all that, which is all great, by the way, great counter propaganda. But there are people who come up and then they talk to the camera and say, "We think Rahul Gandhi will make a great prime minister." Young kids, etc. They're saying it. So it seems very obvious that the goal is to make Congress strong again. So that is the goal of it.
Mm.
Whether or
Correct.
not at some point of time in the yatra they are going to come forward with a clear plan, etc., maybe they will, maybe they won't. Although I have heard that when the Gujarat election is just about to happen, Rahul Gandhi will travel to Gujarat to do election campaigning. He will take a break from the yatra, go do campaigning, come back and resume the yatra from where he left it. So maybe in those speeches there will be more calm ki baat.
Mm. On that same topic, do you think left is dying in India? I'm not
The
sure
left is
how to.
No, I think left has actually become more alive in the last few years. My
Mm.
complaint with the left, which I also actually regularly keep raising with Taranga, is that the left has gotten too caught up in its jargon. So,
Mm.
and there is a need to communicate the ideals of the left very clearly to the working class. अगर हम एक ऐसे देश में रहते हैं जहाँ the left is fighting for labor rights and half the people
Correct.
who are laborers in not I'm not even talking about laborer as in laborer class, even software engineers are laborers, even people who are working in corporate setups are laborers. Half those people think that the left is bad without realizing that half the joys in life they have, like the weekend, sick leave, paternity leave, maternity leave, these are all because of labor unions. So if the left's messaging is getting lost somewhere, the left has to think about why that is. But I think the last
Mm.
few, I think Narendra Modi is going to be remembered as the one prime minister who pushed more people in the Indian youth towards the left. मतलब
Mm.
repel करके भेज दिया, that is a different thing. He did not he's not promoting the left, but his actions have pushed a lot of people towards the left and made people aware of what the left stands for. The left is not
Yes, I
very
think.
strong, I admit, but
Correct.
I think the last few years have made the left stronger.
Yes. So yeah, I can tell it from
Taranga
my.
has given a Taranga has given a comment. Says, the left parties don't have money for propaganda, and propaganda is everything right now. Beginning and end of story. Okay. You were
I
saying?
think from my experience also, like I was calling myself centrist, but last few years I think I have dropped that and
Hmm.
thought, yeah, I'm mostly leftist liberal, so I
Hmm.
own it now. I don't
Yeah.
really
Sure.
bother. But
Like my point is, when they can advocate murder, genocide, rape, and not be apologetic about it, why are we apologetic about saying you are a
yes,
liberal or a left? मतलब the moment someone calls people leftist, they're like, no, I am not a leftist. I'm in the center. I criticize both sides. हम
correct,
लोग ऐसे हो जाते हैं. हमको नहीं होना चाहिए. Should like just if you're a
yeah.
leftist, you're a leftist. उसमें क्या है?
Well, people even when ask me, right, I say I'm a leftist. I don't care what you think about me, but I'm a leftist. So on
Hmm.
the third point, and this is final point. So what I think is happening, like last stream, or I don't know which stream it was, where people were talking like some of the millennials are so brainwashed that, and I think it is happening that most of the millennials have caught up with this brainwash, right? That they are not able to see the proper consequence of the actions of this central government. Like I, one of my colleague was justifying that bulldozer thing, right? He was saying it is a good thing, right? They are getting a punishment, and my final statement to him was, dude, democracy is a process and it requires effort. You are so much in favor of this kind of instant justice because
Yeah,
you
yeah.
don't want to be part of this process. You don't want to put hard work. You don't want to question. You want to earn
Exactly.
your life, earn your living, and live happily. That's not going to solve any problem in any country. And he looks convinced, but then it seems like most of the people are thinking like that now.
They're
But
going for
this
the
is not
lazy
like.
option. It's a lazy option,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like
Lazy
I am
option.
looking
Yeah.
at a really bad thing being done by the people in power against people who don't have power. I have two options. I can either say that the people in power are bad, or I can say that the people who are getting oppressed deserve it. If I say the first
correct,
thing, someone will come for me, so I'll be lazy and cowardly and I will say the latter thing. नहीं अच्छा हुआ उनके साथ, they deserve
correct.
it. And this is something you'll notice across the board. तुम बस में जा रहे हो, तुम्हारा पर्स चोरी हो जाता है, people will say तुम्हारी गलती थी, तुम पर्स लेके बस में क्यों चढ़े थे. It's an entire culture of victim blaming, है ना. So
Victim, yeah.
it happens when someone gets assaulted, it happens when someone gets robbed, it's happening now that people are suffering oppression. I think this is a culture of cowardice, and it is quite
So
prevalent in our society.
yes, yes, and I think we need to have this conversation with our whoever we have in conversation with our younger uh, friends, colleagues, because if we don't speak up now, right, we are not going to have this future generation which is going to have a lot of influence on social medias and all these things like Facebook. When the Facebook came and everyone start taking this, now they have Instagram and Twitter. Until
Yeah.
we start influencing these people and at least bring them to a certain point of rationality, we will be very difficult situation. We will be very difficult situation after that.
Do you think it's about rationality or do you think it's about empathy?
I think both takes place because even if I just being empathetic is not going to solve the problem. I need to have a rational justification for what I'm like. I have to tell people if casteism is bad or good, or say reservation is good or bad. I need to have
Hmm.
a rational justification, and I need to
Yeah.
have that view, and I need to be informed, right? So I
Yeah.
think both needs to be
No, but
taken
I
place.
think another point that I would like to draw your attention to. You mentioned some time ago that there are people who are not aware of the consequences of what is going on, right?
Correct.
The other possibility that I want you to think about is that they are aware of the consequences and they think it's a good thing. The bulldozer
Hmm.
thing, the consequence is not that their house is going to fall down. The consequence is that Muslim houses, Dalit houses are going to fall down, and they are happy about it. There are people like that also. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You
the
are.
reason I brought up empathy is because we are like, should people like if something is bad and it's happening and someone is saying ये जो bad हो रहा है ये होना चाहिए, you can do two things to them. You can tell them this thing is bad and therefore it should not happen, or you can say the bad thing has not happened to you yet but it will. When you say the
Hmm,
first thing, if someone does not change their mind, then they're not good people, are they? If someone is only
hmm.
going to call it bad if it happens to them, then they're not good people, are they? So it's not essentially about rationality. When you talk about rationality, you're talking about the need to recognize that the bad thing can happen to me, and it will. That goes without saying. But even if it doesn't happen to you, even if it is happening to other people who are powerless, it should affect you on some level, right? So it's more about empathy. Empathy is the first line of defense. That is where
I
our
think.
focus should
I
be.
think.
Yeah.
I think there's another point to that. You are right that people should be empathetic, but
Hmm.
here's the thing: people are also blindly ignoring. Like for example, that Jaipur, I think I don't know in Rajasthan that person was beheaded, right? And there was like while
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
TV, every TV has that, and I was
Yeah, yeah,
talking to
yeah,
my colleague. He was telling me these people are like this and all this. I said, dude, your people also lynch people. Where were
yeah.
you? But we are not that dangerous. We are not doing this all the time. I was like, dude, you justified right now. So that's what I'm trying to tell you that empathy may be enough, not enough
Empathy,
for
see,
this.
empathy, I'm saying empathy may not be enough. I'm saying we should still demand empathy. We should still call for empathy. We should still make empathy our first port of call on this journey.
Hmm,
I'm saying, like you're saying, that if we ask for empathy, they will not listen. I agree with you. Many of them will not listen. But we should still
correct,
ask for empathy first before we appeal to rationality. Because then we will know who's an asshole and who's not. Then we will know who's an
correct,
opportunist. Then we will know who's only raising their
correct.
voice because their own house is under threat.
Okay. Yeah. And can I ask you a question?
हाँ,
Like,
sure, go on.
I have
There is
lost
one, there is
minute,
one person waiting,
lost
so
minute.
make this the last
Sure,
question, huh?
I will make it very quick. So, I have like removed a lot of people from my life because I found them their views bigoted and all this thing. Is that okay? Do we need these people? Do we really
Oh,
need to bring them to our side?
no, I don't. I'm of the firm opinion, like there is a great grand discourse happening and has been for quite some time, that we need to talk to each other, find some middle ground. I think the middle ground territory we have left quite some time behind. So my focus is not on that other side. Like मैं कुछ लिखता हूँ इंस्टाग्राम पे ना, तो कोई ना कोई कमेंट देता है, ये भक्तों की समझ में नहीं आएगा। तो मैं बोलता हूँ मैं भक्तों के लिए लिख भी नहीं रहा था भाई, मैं तेरे लिए लिख रहा था, तेरी समझ में आ गया ना। Our focus should be on building stronger communities. That is the only way out of this. It is not
Correct,
reaching a compromise with someone who's trying to set a house on fire by saying नहीं तो आधे
correct,
घर को आग लगा ले, let us find a balance. हमें बहुत strongly एक side लेनी होगी. We are going to have to be extremely unapologetic on our focus here. We are going to have to say नहीं, घर में आग नहीं लगनी चाहिए. There is no question of
mm,
balance with these assholes. If someone wants to come
mm,
over to this side, they're welcome to, but that change will not come when we make allowances for them. They have to realize that they are completely wrong and then come over to this side, because we are not
mm.
advocating genocide, we're not advocating murder and deportation and killings and unlawful arrests. They are. There is no middle ground here. We are right and they're wrong.
Correct. Okay. Thanks, Vimo.
Thanks. Thanks,
It
Ajay.
was
Thank you
nice
for
talking to you.
joining. Nice talking to you.
Yeah. Bye. Bye.
Bye bye. That was Ajay. Let me take a look. There is Shubham also on the line. Shubham, give me exactly 1 minute. Let me look at a few comments. Samir says, you are agnostic atheist, but what about your family and what is your family's view on this aspect? My family is theist. They believe in God, but they don't have much of a care about me being an atheist. I don't know how that works, but they don't care. Taranga says, science, technology, news, and entertainment media is what runs only on money right now in India on substantial scale. Oh, yeah, totally. Like there are so many news reports about scientific findings which are just press releases. By the way, did anyone see Arvind Kejriwal's town hall on NDTV today? It was such a cringe thing, such a sponsored event. Taranga says the second engineers and tech bros unite to use science tech for left propaganda is when a significant shift will happen in public awareness. Like alt news is an example of that, but we need many more. Taranga, I don't think you need tech bros and engineers in order to use technology for, discourse. I'm not a tech bro. Plenty of people are not tech bros and they still manage to do just fine. I think tech bros के ऊपर reliance right wing करता है, but that is not the only path to this. In fact, many tech bros actually suck at it. But we'll talk about that on at some other point. Nav Jindal says, I think money is secondary because there are no major left parties in opposition. All of them which are present are in urgent need of new faces. To which Taranga says, I don't think money is secondary. I think tech costing money and taking over that means of production of propaganda or even what we call plain facts is what is necessary. Again, the the 17-year-old boys who are IT cell are not the smartest bulbs in the room. They do it not through tech expertise, they do it through sheer brute force of numbers. And that is available to the left. Taranga says, startup ka risk सिर्फ guaranteed money के लिए is the issue. If alt news can do it, then so can others. Yeah, that is true. Uh, Xerxes says, Vemo bhai, you have good voice. You can also explain movies and shows too. अरे एक और चैनल शुरू कर देता हूँ, उसमें क्या है? वैसे भी इतने चैनल शुरू कर चुका, लोगों का दिल भर चुका है. ये भी कर ही लेते हैं. Right. Let's take on Shubham. हाँ शुभम.
हेलो, कैसे हो आप?
अच्छा हूँ शुभम, बताइए क्या हुआ?
हाँ, इफ़ यू रिमेंबर हमने एक पॉडकास्ट पे बात करा था द स्केप्टिक शो.
द स्केप्टिक शो. ओह या हाय.
हाय. हाँ, तो अभी मैं कुछ टाइम से अटैक ऑन टाइटन देख रहा था और मेरे पास एक क्वेश्चन है जो कि बहुत ही फिलोसॉफिकल नेचर में है.
ओके.
और ये क्वेश्चन मेरे दिमाग को बिल्कुल खाया जा रहा है.
हम्म.
द क्वेश्चन इज अबाउट द आइडिया ऑफ जस्टिस. अटैक ऑन टाइटन में एल्डियन रेस ने ऑप्रेस किया था मार्लियंस को बहुत टाइम.
मैंने अटैक ऑन टाइटन का एक ही सीजन देखा है.
ओ सॉरी सॉरी. ठीक है.
But ask
ओके
the
बट
question. Don't refer to the show. Just ask the question.
ओके सो इस केस में जस्टिस क्या है? क्योंकि अगर एक ऑपरेसर किसी दूसरे लोगों को ऑपरेस कर रहा है एंड देन कुछ टाइम के बाद जो ऑपरेसर था वो ऑपरेस बन गया है,
Hmm.
सो ये जो जस्टिस का जो आइडिया है वो कहाँ तक रुकना चाहिए? और अपने इंडिया की केस में बात करते हैं, जैसे कि शेड्यूल कास्ट लोगों को 2000 साल तक ऑपरेस किया गया रफली,
Hmm.
ठीक है? तो यहाँ पे तो हमारे पास रिजर्वेशन का सिस्टम है जस्टिस के लिए,
Hmm.
ओके? एंड मेरा क्वेश्चन फिलोसॉफिकल ये है कि अगर फॉर एग्जांपल कुछ इन्वेजन हुआ, कुछ लोगों ने कुछ मंदिर को तोड़ दिया, उस
Hmm.
टाइम के हिसाब से दैट वाज, मतलब उस टाइम के हिसाब से मोरालिटी तो अभी एक्सपैंड कर रही है, बट जो भी था, सो
Hmm.
इफ पीपल ऑफ दैट कम्युनिटी इज आस्किंग फॉर जस्टिस, मतलब टेम्पल्स वगैरह वगैरह के बारे में मांग रहे हैं, तो क्या हम उसको जस्टिस कह सकते हैं?
Nahin.
कैन वी कॉल दैट जस्टिस?
See, here's the thing. Uh, if you are comparing temple demolition by Muslim rulers as injustice and Hindus going after temples now as an attempt at justice, then that's a bullshit argument because Hindus are not being oppressed right now. The point about reservation does not equate with this because दलितों के खिलाफ atrocities
नो नो,
आज
ऑफ
भी
कोर्स नॉट,
रेगुलरली हो रही
मैं
हैं.
बिहार में हूँ, मुझे पता है बहुत ज़्यादा ऑपरेस होते हैं,
हाँ.
मैं वो नहीं कह रहा।
हाँ.
तो मेरा क्वेश्चन तीन
नहीं, मैं कह रहा हूँ कि ये जो
एग्जांपल्स है।
एग्जाम्पल तुमने दिए ना कि टेम्पल्स को फिर से रिवाइव करना एज अ मीन्स ऑफ जस्टिस इज आई डोंट थिंक इट अफेक्ट्स एनीवन इन अ रियल वे. लोग घरों पे पूजा कर लेते हैं आराम से, मंदिरों को फिर से रिवाइव करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. इससे बस ये साइकिल ऑफ वायलेंस कंटिन्यू करेगा. रिजर्वेशन वाला आर्ग्यूमेंट इस पॉइंट में बिलोंग नहीं करता है क्योंकि रिजर्वेशन इज नॉट जस्टिस. रिजर्वेशन इज एन अटेम्प्ट टू मेक जस्टिस पॉसिबल. दैट इज व्हाट आई वाज सेइंग. हाँ, गो ऑन.
ओके, मेरा यही क्वेश्चन था। एंड वन मोर थिंग, आजकल इंडिया में बहुत सारे स्मार्टेस्ट पॉडकास्ट बहुत ज़्यादा क्रिंज हो गए हैं, सो हाउ डू यू टॉलरेट दैट?
आई
मतलब
डोंट
मैं
लिसन टू
सोच रहा
देम.
था कि
आई डोंट लिसन टू
मैं,
देम ओनली.
मेरे पे पता नहीं क्यों वो नोटिफिकेशन आ जाता है, मेरे टाइमलाइन पे आ जाता है, जबकि मैं हर बार नॉट इंटरेस्टेड पे क्लिक करता हूँ, हर बार
क्या
जब उस पॉडकास्ट को देखता हूँ तो
क्या नोटिफिकेशन आता है?
नोटिफिकेशन, अस्त्र अस्त्र वर्ष वाला जो एक एपिसोड आया था इंडिया स्मार्टेड पॉडकास्ट का, मैंने सोचा
हाँ.
यार ठीक है आज देख लेते हैं थोड़ा सा 10 मिनट, और वो 10 मिनट
अच्छा.
में जो मैंने सफर करा है मैं क्या बताऊं।
अच्छा.
अब वहाँ पे एक ऑथर है एंड द पुरानाज और नॉट इवन इतिहास, इतिहास इन द धार्मिक सेंस,
हम्म.
वहाँ पे वो बंदा वो होस्ट बोल रहा है कि हिस्टोरियन है। आई वाज लाइक ओ माय गॉड, इसको
या
कोई
दे
बेसिक
प्ले
सा
लूज एंड फास्ट
एडुकेशन
विथ
दो।
वर्ड्स अ लॉट. वो लोग इतिहास, मिथोलॉजी, पुराण ये सबको इंटरचेंजेबली यूज करते हैं, जानबूझ के कंफ्यूजन क्रिएट होता है. बट आई सपोज अगर तुमको कोई चीज़ नहीं देखनी तो उसके बारे में वीडियोस मत देखो. यूट्यूब पे मेन पेज पे जाते हो ना, नोटिफिकेशन आया, अगर तुमको कोई ऐसा टॉपिक देखा जिसके बारे में तुम बार बार नहीं देखना चाहते तो उस वीडियो पे क्लिक ही मत करो.
और वैसे मैं एक सीरीज़ अभी कर रहा हूँ जहाँ पे मैं हर एक रिलीजन के एकेडमिक्स को जिनको उनके बारे में पता है वो पॉडकास्ट पे आए और सभी आइडियाज़ को एक्सप्लेन कर दें। सो आई नो समवन हु कैन एक्सप्लेन ऑल द धार्मिक फेथ और
हम्म.
क्रिश्चियन फेथ, बट आई डोंट नो एनीवन हु कैन एक्सप्लेन द इस्लामिक फेथ टू मी। सो डू यू नो समवन?
No, I don't. But I suppose you could go on Haris Sultan ka channel and ask him. He does talk to many Islamic scholars. He might be able to explain. He might be able to recommend someone sane to you.
Yes, I want sane people, that is what।
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
ओके,
He
थैंक यू।
might be able to recommend someone.
या बट वो एथीस्ट हैं और वो बहुत ज़्यादा एग्रेसिव एथीस्ट है, सो आई डोंट थिंक कि
नहीं, वो इतना एग्रेसिव नहीं है यार. थीस्ट बहुत सेंसिटिव होते हैं. कोई कुछ छोटा मोटा बोल देता है तो
हाँ
उनको
वो
बहुत
तो
बुरा लग जाता है. ही इज एक्चुअली नॉट दैट एग्रेसिव. आई हैव सीन एग्रेसिव. ही इज नॉट दैट एग्रेसिव. जो
वेल कैन
if
यू
you
गिव मी
ask him
सम।
nicely, I'm a podcaster. I'm trying to have religious discourse on my channel. I have Hindus experts and Christian experts. I'm looking for some sane Muslim experts. Can you recommend someone? Maybe maybe he'll be able to help you.
ओके, थैंक यू।
Cool. Thanks,
Keep up
Shubham.
the good work. Bye.
Thank you. Much appreciated. That was Shubham. And we return to Taranga, who says, fair enough, I agree. It's such a grumpy comment. But there is also the confidence to take up the use of science technology on scale. Alt News even made its own app, which is kind of the thing needed. Okay, so you mean freedom from the rules of platforms. You already have, I have, I have spoken about email newsletters and podcasts. You can have a podcast which breaks free from the constraints of social media platforms. You don't need an app, actually. I think apps are overrated. Like, native apps. IVM Podcast has a native app, but most people listen to it on Apple Podcast or something else, I guess, or YouTube even. So I don't think a native app is the need of the hour. The need of the hour is to create accessible content streams and distribute them using open protocols like podcasts or email newsletters or even YouTube. Make it accessible. That is the first thing. Technology is not a gap. They are not geniuses. None of them are tech geniuses. They have overtaken the discourse through gundagardi, manipulation of algorithms, and brute force. That is all. Make your message accessible. That is the first thing, and you'll see the change. It's not about science technology. Um, Sharad says, I'm a bit skeptical about how much empathy we have as a society because of the way we treat animals. I feel that true empathy should be applicable to all sentient beings capable of significant suffering. Well, Sharad, I think I agree with you, but empathy comes in waves, and the first wave is your family. The second wave is your community. The third wave is probably your city, state, or nation. So if you keep expanding like this, at some point of time you reach animals. What we were discussing was society, human society, and animals, for better or worse, are not part of human society. I'm not saying we should be cruel to them. I'm saying it is understandable that people think about people before they think about animals. um, Amit says, Vimo explaining movies and shows, लगता है comic वर्ड्स के सब्सक्राइबर कम होने वाले हैं. Battler says, Shubham, the show of AOT is quite clear. Attack on Titan. The descent. Spoiler. Amit says, beer biceps is cringe. That is true. In fact, I was having a conversation about beer biceps with Pranav earlier today. It was fun to learn some things, but I can't share it. Battler says, Dr. Shady Nasir, please ask him to come about Islam. Tanga says, now I feel the left does have leaders who have charisma. It is again how propaganda through news and infotainment reaches us that makes us less aware of Kavita Krishnan and Pinarai Vijayan, for example. Introspective person says, sir, please mention some books which is necessary to read. I can't. What I can do is send you to amazon.in slash, अरे वो कहाँ गया, बैनर नहीं है, मैंने हटा दिया वो बैनर. I have a web page at amazon.in slash shop/Vimo. Go there. वहाँ पे मैंने बहुत सारे बुक्स की लिस्ट दी है. Amit Kumar says, yep, apps are overrated. That is why I use browser. Samir says, you missed a lot of comments. What is your view on the judgment of medical student not allowed to take admission in any of the nation's medical colleges? I think that they should be allowed to, given that their education was rudely interrupted. However, I'm not aware of what reasons the courts provided. Was it the court or no. The government has proposed in the court that they cannot get admission. The court's judgment, I think, has not yet come. So it's the government's position that the students who came back from Ukraine and were pursuing medical education there cannot continue their education in Indian colleges. And the court is yet to give a decision on this. Taranga says, okay, I'm obviously not a tech bro, but I don't know if money plays no role in how SciTech reaches us on scale. I'm not saying money plays no role. I'm saying that internet access is enough. Social media platforms manipulating their algorithms, uh, hiring people en masse in order to propagate your message are things that you can do with money. But I don't think the left lacks people, right? If 2 3 people can create an app using which they can harass Muslim and women journalists all over the country as if tens of thousands of abusive messages are being sent to them, then you can imagine how it's not rocket science. These guys are not geniuses. They're not Nobel Prize winners. कोई भी चोमू कर सकता है ये सब. And I'm not even saying use their underhand means. There are just simplify and make your message accessible. That is all. The rest will fall into place. Hmm. कहाँ गया? Kavan says, I love infotainment channels Nishan says view on Kerala dog issue. Kerala dog issue. What is the Kerala dog issue? I don't know what the Kerala dog issue is. Mohammed says beer biceps made video on meditation techniques of Hitler. Oh God. Atheist के मुंह से God निकलवा दिया इस आदमी ने. Taranga says, oh yes, that is just cruel judgment, Samir. Nav Jindal says, oh, there was the judgment? Hold on. You news can't give MBBS students from Ukraine seats in. So this is the government's position. The Union government on Thursday informed the Supreme Court that Indian students pursuing MBBS in Ukraine whose studies were disrupted because of war and subsequent evacuation would not be admitted to medical colleges in India, as that would amount to giving backdoor entry to less meritorious. Oh God, यहाँ पे फिर से merit घुसा दिया इन्होंने. To less meritorious students. Well, their point may be that these people went to Ukraine because they couldn't get admission in India, and now that they're back from Ukraine, they should not get admission in Indian colleges. But has the court given any position on this? All I know is that that's the government's position. No, the court's decision is not there. It just told. Right. So I suppose we should wait for the court's decision. Sudipto says, Acha, what podcatcher do you use on PC? The one I was using isn't working very well. I use either Spotify or something called Pocket Casts. Pocket Cast. It's a paid service, but when I joined, it was free. So I have lifetime free membership now. Amit says, एप्पल की नेटवर्थ बहुत सारे देशों की जीडीपी से ज़्यादा है और वो कहते हैं कि कैपिटलिस्ट सोसाइटी बेहतर है कम्युनिस्ट सोसाइटी से. एग्जैक्टली. Battler says skeptic show. Oh, looking forward to an Indian Christian views on Christianity. Most of them usually speak on ethnography. Nishan says Kerala government are seeking permission from SC for mass killing of dogs. What? For what reason? What assholes, man? Taranga says, no, center ka submission. Yes, and NEET is a scam. We need more colleges, which is government ka responsibility. That is why all arguments against reservation are stupid. Yeah, हमारे पास रिसोर्सेस हैं, रिसोर्सेस को ढंग से डिस्ट्रीब्यूट नहीं किया गया और उस बैड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की वजह से जो पॉवर्टी और लैक ऑफ रिसोर्सेस पैदा होती है, उसके सोल्यूशन गवर्नमेंट जब बनाने जाती है तो बोलती है कि रिसोर्सेस नहीं है और कुछ लोगों ने सारे रिसोर्सेस ले लिए और हमको मतलब सॉरी वो जो कुछ लोगों की बात करती है वो यूजुअली अंडर प्रिविलेज होते हैं, अमीर नहीं होते हैं. Taranga says, if there is genuinely enough educational opportunity for all, nobody will need centralized entrance exam and reservation for educational seats now. Survey says, hi Vimo, did you read about Patagonia CEO giving away his wealth? Yes, I did. But I don't think I have a full picture of it. Maybe it will become clear in some time. I'm always suspicious when rich people do extremely charitable things. But if this person has done it, wonderful. But I will make up my mind after a few weeks. Taranga says, so my learning from today ka live is that left parties need IT cell equivalents. Partly, yes, but, and I have said this before also, look at the messaging of Hindutva. They don't talk about anything, they talk about something very personal. They talk about faith, they talk about religion and culture. And most people are able to relate to that. The left actually has access to something even more personal than that, and that is the pocket, employment, labor, rights as a worker. But you don't see the left talking about that and making it as accessible as the Hindutva quarter makes religion. So the left's messaging has to become super simple, and then yes, you need something like an IT cell, or your own people can spread this message around. But accessibility is the first thing. If the message is good and clean, it'll spread like wildfire. Trust me. Nav says, what is your take on content piracy on net, like movies, books, etc.? I think piracy hurts small creators. The big creators actually don't suffer because of piracy. And also, there is this matter of piracy not actually hurting writers. Like, suppose I'm a writer and I wrote a film script for Disney. It's not like the piracy is going to hurt me. I already got paid. Piracy is going to hurt corporations. And Corporations are the ones who exert power to prevent copyright law from becoming more free. There is a scholar called Lawrence Lessig. He even ran for president symbolically a couple of years ago. He's written books about the commons, about the need to loosen copyright law, or at least give creators the right to loosen copyright laws with respect to their works. एंड पायरेसी के बारे में जो हम लोग बहुत ज़्यादा हु-हा सुनते हैं, वो नॉर्मली कंपनीज़ क्रिएट करती हैं क्योंकि उनका मार्जिन नीचे जा रहा होता है। बट मोस्ट क्रिएटर्स, like, they have piracy as a problem, but their problem is, the biggest problem is not piracy, it is lack of exposure. अगर मैं एक राइटर हूँ जिसको कोई नहीं जानता है, तो मेरी स्टोरी कोई कॉपी नहीं करेगा मोस्टली। मेरा सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है कि लोग मुझे जानते ही नहीं हैं। Taranga says he hasn't dissolved the company, he has handed it over to a non-profit entity. Okay. Nazreen says we need IQ cell. Amit says someone name your movie explainer channel Vimohies. Why Vimohies? What does that mean? Vimo highs, Vimo yes. Taranga says the left speaks about hunger, which is why it still exists at all as political parties in at least some parts of the country, even significantly. The problem is propaganda. But yes, got my answer. Thank you. So here's the thing: the left talks about hunger, and hunger is a thing that makes people unhappy. You will find that Hindutva's gateway is not Hindu Khatre mein. Hindutva's gateway is pride. It evokes positive sentiments. And once the positive sentiments have been raised to a certain level, panic is introduced. कि ये जो सब है, ये सब जाने वाला है. हिंदू खतरे में, हिंदू बचाओ. Left starts its conversation with hunger, and that puts people in a negative state of mind, and they stop listening. If the left's argument was presented, the first level of the left's argument was presented as worker rights, all the things that unions have given them, an equal world, a world where you own the company that you work in, at least in part, worker cooperatives. And then you got to the part about how all this is under threat because of capitalism, how people are actually hungry despite all these possibilities existing out there. Then you will have more traction. Left ka problem hai, they think that tragedy will draw people towards them, and it usually doesn't. I'm talking this purely from the point of view of counter propaganda. I'm not an expert in any of the things that you're an expert in. You know way more than I do. But this, I do understand. Taranga says the Patagonia guy said, I want a different kind of capitalism, basically, so he did not dissolve the company. Vimo Vies. Vimo Vies. I don't still understand why is it called Vimo Hees or Vimo Vies. Sudipto says 19,000 people apparently got 100 percentile in CUET undergraduate level. Good Lord. Now they will still do board marks with these 19,000. We are back at square one. I have no idea what that means. Oh, like movies, Vimohies. Okay. Got it. Nav says, what the hell? Really? I got 60% barely. Taranga says, but unions are what are killed by labor laws in India. Taranga says, no, this is useful. Yeah, it is useful. Listen to the propaganda guy. But yeah, we are at the 1 hour 4 minute mark. I thank everyone for coming and leaving so many comments, even though शुरू में थोड़ा ढीला था, but बहुत लोग आए, बात की, 2 लोग स्क्रीन पे भी आए. This is the last episode of this week. Tomorrow is Saturday, Sunday, obviously no episode. But on Monday and Tuesday also there will be no episode. From next week onwards, the coming week onwards, this live stream will only happen on Wednesdays and Saturdays. So the next time I'll see you will be on Wednesday, 9:30 p.m. And before I leave, I'll just remind everyone that if you want to support this channel, you can do so by clicking the join button below and becoming a member. That will be helping me buy software, buy books, and pay my bills. If you want to support me on Patreon, you can do that at patreon.com/Vimo. You can make a monthly pledge or an annual pledge. Everything helps. If you don't want to make any kind of a pledge, you can simply go to my blog at vimo.stck.me. That's my place where I have all the articles and whatever I write goes there. It's also kind of my newsletter. If you go to vimo.stck.me, you'll find a support button. If you click on it, you'll be able to make a one-time donation. There is no monthly or annual funda there. You can just choose an amount and make a one-time donation there. And if you want to buy merch, you can do so at kadakmerch.com/vemolive. There are t-shirts, hoodies, and mugs. There's a t-shirt with the phrase "Sabka Malik fake hai." It's a t-shirt for atheists, and there's some other stuff also. So please go over and check kadakmerch.com/vemolive. If you want to listen to audio episodes of this podcast, you'll find all of them available at www.vimo.in. That's the website for the official website for the podcast. And there are also links to all the audio apps on which this podcast can be listened to. Having said all that, it is with great sadness that I end today's episode because it feels to me like the end of a season. Like this daily episode doing was a fun thing that I tried for some time, but it's taking too much of a toll on me, so I won't be able to do it. So next week onwards, as I said, only Wednesdays and Saturdays. But I hope that nothing else will change, that people will still come and we will still talk and we'll have guests and all the usual stuff. And I will also be able to advise the left on propaganda points. So yeah, thanks everyone for coming, and I'll see you on Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. Good night and have a great weekend.